Good evening, shining stars. How are you tonight? Welcome back to our reading corner. And we're going to get back into Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And we're in the middle of chapter 3. And they have just had a caucus race to dry off. It's Alice, a bunch of other characters involved at this point, all just coming out of the pool of tears. Alice was forced to provide the prizes to the rest of the animals. Here, by the way, how was your Monday? How was your Monday? I hope everybody had a wonderful Monday. And I hope you're ready to relax as we dive back into chapter 3. And as always, it's lovely to be with you, my stars. So I'll do what I would adjust the camera just a little bit. Do if I was reading. Well, since we are reading before bed, and we always pick up in a different spot, I like to go over where we were. So, yes, we have the characters, the prizes being given out, the caucus race, and now we're just getting back into Alice's conversation with the mouse and her apologizing for bringing up C and D, cat and dog. And the mouse was just telling her, "Mine is a long and sad tale," said the mouse, turning to Alice and sighing. Yes, it is a long tale, certainly, said Alice, looking down with wonder at the mouse's tail. "But why do you call it sad?" And she kept on puzzling about it while the mouse was speaking, so that her idea of the tale was something like this. Fury said to a mouse that he met in the house. Fury said to a mouse that he met in the house, "Let us both go to law. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial. We must have the trial, for really, this morning, I've nothing to do," said the mouse to the cur. "Such a trial, dear sir, with no jury or judge, would be wasting out breath." "I'll be judge, I'll be jury," said cunning old Fury. "I'll try the whole cause and condemn you to death." Oh, that is a sad tale. Sad tale. Condemn you to death. "You are not attending," said the mouse to Alice severely. "What are you thinking of?" "I beg your pardon," said Alice very humbly. "You had got to the fifth bend, I think." "I had not," cried the mouse sharply and very angrily. "A not," said Alice, always ready to make herself useful and looking anxiously about her. "Oh, do let me help undo it." "I should not do anything of the sort," said the mouse, getting up and walking away. You insult me by talking such nonsense. I didn't mean it, pleaded poor Alice, but you're so easily offended, you know. The mouse only growled and replied, Please come back and finish your story. Alice called after it, and all the others joined in the chorus. Yes, please do. But the mouse only shook his head impatiently and walked a little quicker. What a pity it wouldn't stay, sighed the lory, as soon as it was quite out of sight. And an old crab took the opportunity of saying to her daughter, Ah, my dear, let this be a lesson to you. Never lose your temper. Hold your tongue, ma, she said, young crab, a little snappishly. You're enough to try the patience of an oyster. Oh, ah, my dear, let this be a lesson to you. Never lose your temper. Hold your tongue, ma, said the young crab a little snappishly. You're enough to try the patience off an oyster. Sorry, wanted to change the baby crab's voice. That was a weird choice, but here we go. I wish I had our Dinah here. I know I do, said Alice aloud, addressing nobody in particular. She'd soon fetch it back. And who is Dinah, if I might venture to ask the question, said the lory. Alice but replied eagerly, for she was always ready to talk about her pet. Dinah's our cat, and she's such a capital one for catching mice you can't think. And oh, I wish you could see her after the birds. Why, she'll eat a little bird as soon as she'll look at it. This speech caused a remarkable sensation among the party, I can only imagine. Some of the birds hurried off at once. One old magpie began wrapping itself up very carefully, remarking, I really must be getting home. The night air doesn't suit my throat. And a canary called out in a trembling voice to its children, Come away, my dears. It's high time you were all in bed. On various pretexts, they all moved off, and Alice was soon left alone. I wish I hadn't mentioned Dinah, she said to herself in a melancholy tone. Nobody seems to like her down here, and I'm sure she's the best cat in the world. Oh, my dear Dinah, I wonder if I shall ever see you any more. And here poor Alice began to cry again, for she felt very, very lonely and low-spirited. In a little while, however, she again heard the little pattering of footsteps in the distance, and she looked up eagerly, half hoping that the mouse had changed his mind and was coming back to finish his story. So we'll start chapter 4. The rabbit sends in a little bill. Go down to the end of this page, and then we'll stop for the night. I know. I wish we could read longer too. We'll stop for the night there. So the rabbit sends in a little bill. It was the white rabbit trotting slowly back again and looking anxiously about as it went, as if it had lost something, and she heard it muttering to itself, the Duchess, oh my dear paws, oh my fur and whiskers, she'll get me executed, as sure as ferrets are ferrets. Where can I have dropped them, I wonder? Alice guessed in a moment that it was looking for the fan and the pair of white kid gloves, and she very good-naturedly began hunting about for them. But they were nowhere to be seen. Everything seemed to have changed since her swim in the pool, and the great hall with the glass table, the little door, had vanished completely. Very soon the rabbit noticed Alice as she went hunting about, calling out to her in an angry tone, Why, Mary Ann, what are you doing out here? Run home this moment and fetch me a pair of gloves and a fan. Quick, now. And Alice was so much frightened that she ran off at once in the direction it pointed to, without trying to explain the mistake that it had made. He took me for his housemaid, she said to herself as she ran. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. But I'd better take him his fan and his gloves, that is if I can find them. As she had said this, she came upon a neat little house, on the door of which was a bright brass plate with the name W. Rabbit engraved upon it. Fear lest she should meet the real Marianne, and turned out of the house before she had found the fan and gloves. Well, let's see where the next paragraph, how long ago. It's not that long. A little more, a couple more sentences. How queer it seems, Alice said to herself, to be going messages for a rabbit. I suppose Dinah will be sending me on messages next. And she began fancying the sort of thing that would happen. Miss Alice, come here directly and get ready for your walk. Coming in a minute, nurse, but I've got to watch this mouse hole till Dinah comes back and see that the mouse doesn't get out. Only I don't think, Alice went on, that they'd let Dinah stop in the house if she began ordering people about like that. By this time she had found her way into a tight little room with a table and a window, and on it, as she had hoped, a fan and 2 or 3 pairs of tiny white kid gloves. She took up the fan and a pair of the gloves, and was just about to leave the room, when her eyes fell upon a little bottle that stood out near the looking-glass. There was no table this time with the words "Drink me," but nevertheless she uncorked it and put it to her lips. I know something interesting is sure to happen, she said to herself, whenever I eat or drink anything, so I'll just see what this bottle does. I do hope it'll make me grow large again, for really I'm quite tired of being such a tiny little thing. It did so indeed, and much sooner than she had expected. Before she had drunk half the bottle, she found her head pressing against the ceiling, and had to stoop to save her neck from being broken. She hastily put down the bottle, saying to herself, "That's quite enough. I hope I shan't grow any more. As it is, I can't get out of the door. I do wish I hadn't drunk quite so much." Alas, it was too late to wish that. She went on growing, and very soon had to kneel down on the floor in another minute. There was not even room for this, and she tried the effort of lying down with one elbow against the door and the other arm curled around her head. Still she went on growing, and as a last resource she put one arm out the window and one foot up the chimney, and said to herself, "Now I can do no more. Whatever happens, what will become of me?" Luckily for Alice, the little magic bottle now had its full effect, and she grew no larger. Still, it was very uncomfortable, and there seemed to be no sort of chance of her ever getting out of that room again. No wonder she felt unhappy. Okay, we'll stop there. Alice Big in the House. If you watch the movie, the Disney movie like I did when you were younger, you can actually picture in your head, mark or place. I need to get us a cool Shining Star bookmark or something. Yeah, you can see the image of it in your head if you watch the movie as a kid, of her sitting in the house with her feet, arms, legs coming out of the windows, chimneys, doors. Such a great movie. Such a great movie. My shining stars, have a wonderful night. I hope you have a sound sleep and wake up refreshed. And wishing you a wonderful Tuesday and a wonderful week. We'll read again tomorrow night, and then hopefully I'll be able to keep up at least Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. We shall see. I will do my best. So for tonight,